Hello, welcome to JAR Nation Session 3. I am Lori Pendley and I work at Jesse Webb's Edward Jones office. If you'll remember from our last session, we talked about entrepreneurs and how to use skills and innovation. But in this session, we're going to discuss the skills needed for a high demand jobs and also careers. So I want you to get your thinking caps on for a minute. Imagine you have the responsibility to open a brand new elementary school. What jobs would be absolutely necessary for you to have a successful school? I'm going to give you just a few seconds as you think about those. Of course, some of the things that come to my mind right off are teachers, principals, lunchroom ladies, guidance counselor, secretaries, school nurse. If I let you start listing, you probably could come up with some that I have missed. And as we're thinking about schools, what are some of the skills do you think it would take to be a fifth grade teacher? Well, of course, I think communication, being able to read and write and being able to talk to their students, being able to teach different subjects like English, math, social studies, science. There could be a gamut of things that they need. I challenge you after this session to ask your teacher what are some of the skills that they needed to be able to teach you. Our nation needs skilled workers. New and exciting businesses create demand for workers, and we talked about what a worker was last week. They are human resources who have skills that fit their needs. If making a good or a service is expected to create a large number of jobs, those jobs are called high growth jobs. The government does research to determine which jobs will be high growth. High demand jobs, and this information is sent to different schools and colleges, and they take this research to help students prepare for different career opportunities. High demand and high growth jobs today require the use of technology, which is a capital resource. We're using technology to even teach this class. We're using an iPhone to record, a laptop to do the presentation, and a TV as a screen. But there's different jobs that will use technology. So advances in technologies make it possible for businesses to substitute capital resources for human resources. That means, sadly, some people will lose their jobs. There are some jobs that may not exist in 10 years because of the advance of technology. Examples could be store clerks. A lot of people use different online stores now to purchase their goods and have them sent to their home, so there are not going to be as many store clerks as before. Travel agents. When you were to plan a trip, you would go sit down with a travel agent. Now you've got technology that at the tips of your fingers, you can research and find vacation and find the deals that you want. Also, some manufacturing jobs can now be done by computer and done by technology. Interest, the things you like and enjoy. Future careers might seem a long way off for you all. You're thinking, I'm really young. But students can prepare for the future and prepare for their careers in things that interest them and some of the skills that you've already developed. Matching these careers to your interests can make a very big success for you. So, as we think today, what are some things that interest you? Do you have a hobby? And what job do you see yourself doing in the future? One thing when I was younger, I love to take pictures. So I had a camera, and I thought when I grew up that I wanted to be a photographer. I had a little sister that I had fun with, that I would sit her out and I would pose her and take pictures of her because I was going to be a photographer one day. To be honest, I still dabbled in it a little bit. I did some friends' weddings and some senior pictures, but I took something that I was interested in, a hobby of mine. Never really made it a career, but it could have been. I've got several friends that have done things like that. So something that you're interested in today or a hobby that you may have one day may turn into a career for you. Jobs that you selected for the elementary job at the very beginning of our session today, um, some of the answers you may have came up with and that I shared with you were teachers, principals, or librarians. And as we're talking about a career cluster, which is a grouping of jobs in industry related by skills or products. So all of these positions that we just discussed for an elementary school, they would fall under the education career cluster. So let's take a look at some of these career clusters on this screen. There are 16 different career clusters or categories. The government uses these 16 clusters or categories. When you start thinking about your career, it makes it easy. The jobs for school, as we just talked about, would fall under the education and training cluster. Finance, that's where I would fall under, is accountants, bank tellers, bookkeepers, executive financial planner, insurance agent. But as you see, there's a lot of different jobs that fall under these 16 career clusters. So, as we're thinking about career clusters, do you like to build things? So, can you think of 3 jobs needed to build a house? Do you like helping others? Can you think of 3 jobs that keep the public safe? So the possible answers to question 1 could be an engineer, an architect, construction worker. So the career cluster for that would be architecture and construction. Some of the answers for number 2, of course, could be a police officer, a firefighter, a security officer. So this would fall under public safety and security. So as we review today, first of all, I want to thank you for your participation. And remember, you have the opportunity to learn new skills and develop new interests at school, home, and also your community. So I'll see you on our next session together. And next you're going to complete an activity that goes along with today's lesson.